Thank you for listening to JC Radio Podcast. We're fans of music, movies, shows, and all things entertainment. So today, we have a special guest on the show, Scott Eames of Nevalra and the Antichrist. Scott, how you doing today?
Good. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Of course. Always appreciate you being here. Last time we talked was back in January during Missouri Metal Fest, and you mentioned this and that about the upcoming tour and everything. So now we can finally talk about it.
Yeah, back then I didn't have everything released, so it had to be vague.
Yeah, well, I know me personally, it's really been bugging me, but now since everything's released, let's just talk about it now. So when is this tour coming up?
We leave here in just the next few days, actually. It's going to be about 6 weeks in Europe, a little over 6 weeks, actually, with Kyrak Angren, Wolfheart, and the Antichrist, and Nevalra, all on one big package. And we're going to hit lots of territory that Nevalra has not hit before, and actually the Antichrist hasn't hit before as well. So we're hoping to build a whole new fan base over there because we've had lots of people asking us to come, and I think they're going to respond to us pretty well.
That's good. Are you nervous at all for first impressions for Nevalra?
Oh, not at all. When it comes to the stage stuff, I'm always amped up and ready to go for that and to kind of show everybody what we're about. The only nervousness and stress that I have is all the travel arrangements and making sure the gear is working properly, that nothing gets left behind or stolen. That's the biggest stuff that I have. When it comes to the stage, I'm ready to go always. The rest of it, that's the pain in my ass.
I mean, you've had some pretty bad luck in the past with gear getting stolen or just not working.
Yeah, just recently. I had went, a decade with no problems. And then just over the last year and a half, I've had multiple things happen. So it's just how it is. When you're on the road a lot, it's to be expected. I mean, stuff happens. So got to keep pushing.
I think the worst thing for you to lose, I guess, over there would probably be your passport, to be honest. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah, we're going to be hitting, 20-plus countries.
Gosh.
So it would not be good to lose your passport when you got to be in a different country almost every day. So. Yeah,
and I'm looking at the list right now on your website, and that's just, my goodness, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. I've done 5 weeks before is the longest tour I think that I've done. With the extra travel days, it was close to 6 weeks, but this one's pushing it to 7 weeks. And, and that's not in the States. So that's going to add lots of extra plane and tour bus hours and days. So I think it's not even to mention that I'm going to be doing double sets every night. So it's definitely going to push me physically.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, this has both Nevalra and Antichrist on there. For people that don't know, Scott plays guitar for both bands. So he's going to be double booking it, biggest tour he's ever done. So, Scott, what do your band members think about that?
Oh, they're excited about it. It wasn't even the plan to begin with, but the booking agents and the management, the record labels, they all jumped on board. They're like, hey, we got this album to go out. Let's do this. And they wanted to double me up, and I was like, oh no. All right, let's do it. So
jeez.
But they're pretty excited. I'm just when I work with the Antichrist, I'm usually rehearsing in Dallas, and the Nevalra guys come to me in Missouri. So I kind of shift gears depending on who I'm around, and then I work on the opposite band in my own time. So when I'm in Dallas, I work with Antichrist. And when I'm here, I usually work on Nevalra and then kind of split my time into making sure I do the Antichrist set a lot when the Nevalra guys aren't at my studio.
I got
the rehearsal space.
Yeah, of course. So I don't want to be that guy, sound like a negative Nancy or anything like that, but so you just did a show not too long ago with Antichrist. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. It's been about 6 months since you've done anything with Nevalra. Are you kind of nervous with that long distance of not performing together?
No, yeah, we played in January, like you said. We did a short run, but on Nevalra, no, we're good to go. We actually had our a drummer in from Houston, and we did rehearsals for this 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So it's only been a month or so since we've got together as a group, and we did like the entire set list, and we filmed a music video while he was here.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, all the material is actually pretty fresh for us, and actually all the songs but one are all going to be new songs that we're playing on this set list.
What song's going to be the one that's not new?
The one that was on the prior EP is Terror Throne.
Okay.
And we're probably going to open the show with that one.
Awesome.
And then blast them with all new stuff through the rest of it.
So, speaking of new, we have a music video coming out soon, correct?
Yes, June 6th.
June 6th.
So that will be Thursday.
That's the day before the album's released.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. So we got 3 new songs, a new album, and a new tour coming up. I mean, do you ever just go crazy doing all this work nonstop?
Oh, absolutely. I'm on it all the time. Yeah, I would have to say I'm talking to the label probably 10 to 12 times a day.
Jeez.
I'm answering emails or they're giving us a call, and probably not so much with the manager and the management, but they're definitely involved in all of those conversations on email. And then I try not to bother them too much because they handle, 50 bands total.
Yeah.
So I try not to bother them until it's very imperative. But yeah, we working on 5 things simultaneously all the time, and we have different threads for every one of them. So we keep track of the music video thing here, the single release here, where we're going to premiere it in Germany, where we're going to premiere it in America, how we're going to get these singles ready for Spotify, it's like insane. I got to keep lists to keep track of everything. But that's how you release it properly. So, it took a little while to get the business end of it done, to get this released properly, because the album's been done for over a year. But now that it's all hitting, it's really hitting. And I'm kind of like dodging bullets here and making sure that I'm keeping track of everything.
So how does someone with this busy of a work schedule incorporate, family and friends and whatnot? Because I know your friends and family, they're very supportive of you.
Yeah, I just try to balance it the best that I can. I even have, specific friends that we just play video games every now and then. I try to sit down and block off some time to because we don't call each other on the phone or whatever anymore. We just get on PlayStation,
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, I just block off my time just like any other job. And I work on, 4 hours of Antichrist, 4 hours of Nevalra. If there's 2 extra hours is where I'll try to, plug in whichever I need to do more, whether that be gear or just packing and getting ready, the logistical stuff of getting your plane tickets. Management helps with some of that. But yeah, with the family stuff, they just set up dinners and we go hang out and, do that thing and then get back to work.
It's pretty cool that you're able to, schedule time for your business, but also for family. You'll often hear a lot about people just working too hard and not having enough time for one or the other. But, you seem to have it all under control, though.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not always that easy. It's weird because this is one of those jobs where you don't have, I work from 8 to 5 or anything like that, because I could be up till 2 in the morning, or I could get, I could be done by 5, I could be done by 10. It really depends on what needs to be done at that time.
With the new album coming out, 3 new singles coming out, are we going to expect any new merch with this tour?
Yeah, it's all already in Europe waiting on us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we're working on getting it to America. Obviously, we're waiting until the American album release tour to get it available to everybody here. So, of course, we threw all of our resources into Europe right now. But, yeah, there's going to be new shirts with the Conjure the Storm, the new cover art, the stuff with the new logo. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to getting those available to not only Europe but over here.
Now, is there any more news on the U.S. tour? I know on social media, a lot of your U.S. fans just keep dogging you guys about that. When's the U.S. tour? When's the U.S. tour? Is there any new news on that or any updates?
Yeah, they've thrown a few tours at us, and we've come close to accepting a couple of them, depending on the time frames and the financial stability of the band, because it's obviously costing a lot to take this many people to Europe for that long. And so when we get back, we should be able to figure out exactly how hard we can push it, or if we need to wait it depends on the tours that are available. It's kind of a complicated scenario. It's like they'll throw a tour at us that'll say it's in September and it's 4 weeks and it'll cost the band X amount of dollars, and we want to make sure that we can cover that before we, jump headfirst into something. A lot of bands don't really take their finances very seriously, and that's why they start to get somewhere and then kind of dwindle out because they, break themselves. So
yeah, I think it was actually Nikki Sixx that said, the number one thing a rock star needs to worry about is their finances, because you could get rid of the money as fast as you could earn it, even faster. So
oh yeah,
I mean, that's really cool that you guys are being smart about that.
Oh yeah, there's hidden costs absolutely everywhere.
So since January, since you guys last played, you have had a new endorser, which is More, a pedal company. Tell us about that. What's More like?
Yeah, I met those guys when I was in Anaheim. I was at the NAMM show doing the BC Rich guitar stuff, EMG pickups, and hanging out with those guys. And I had spoken to More prior to that, just about some gear, but it was kind of just in passing. But there I got to actually speak with them and tell them a little bit more about what I do, and got to go through their stuff, and they showed us some of the new gear that they had coming up. Some was available and some wasn't at the time. I think it's all available now. Back then it wasn't. So they had the new GE200 and the GE300, which are awesome pedals. They have the technology that much more expensive gear is putting out there, and a smaller package, which is great for touring bands because we had to carry so much. And so yeah, we just I talked about what I do and what I'm going to do. And when I got back, they called me up and they were like, "Hey, we want to get you on board. What kind of gear are you interested in?" And I told them some of the things that I like. And so they sent me some gear, and then I kind of played around with it for a little while, and we, talked over email a few times, and then they called me back up and they said, "We want you to make a signature tone for, we'll call it Wicked One."
That's awesome.
And so build this signature tone that you love, that you work with on both bands. It kind of fits between both bands.
Yeah.
And send it to us so we can put it on our pedals, and people can upload them and put them in their pedals.
That's pretty cool. So now your fans could just buy the pedal, which is fairly cheap. I've looked it up, and I mean, it blew my mind how affordable that pedal was.
Yeah, especially for the technology they're throwing into it.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. And now they're able to download your signature sound and sound like you while they play at home. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, they could just upload it right into their pedals. It's pretty cool. It's another step into another realm. I haven't had a signature tone before when it comes to gear. I have signature cables and stuff like that for gear, but it was pretty cool to shape that tone that I like the most into them, and anybody can buy these pedals and upload into their stuff.
Will we maybe see a signature EMG pickup or a signature BC Rich guitar in the future?
I hope so. I got a little bit of work to do before I get the big ones. But I'm definitely in good with all those guys.
Yeah.
And they definitely support everything that I've been doing the last bunch of years. So, I mean, there's no telling, but I got to get out there a little bit harder, a little bit more. And, yeah, I would love that. That'd be a dream come true that I would never think would even be possible. But now it's at least possible.
I'll let BC Rich know right now. I will buy a signature Wicked One V guitar. So you at least got,
that would be awesome.
You at least got one up buyer. So what's the gear going to be like with Nevalra versus Antichrist? Are you just going to be using the same hookup, or are they two different hookups?
I'm going to bring two different ones just in case.
Okay.
So that way, if something goes down, I'm not dead in the water. But it's mostly going to be the same because I'm going to play the Nevalra set, and then I'm going to have 15 minutes to finish the look and then get back up there with Antichrist. So I'm not going to really get to change gear too quickly. So I'm finished the set, kind of scoot it over a little bit because I stand a little bit further to the right for Antichrist, and then go finish putting everything on, jump back up on stage and go again.
Jeez.
So
now,
it is very back-to-back sets. I'm not going to have much time to swap much of anything.
So are you going to be wearing your Antichrist attire while you're playing for Nevalra?
Most of it, yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, the record label had me do a press release that should be coming out here soon with for the European fans, kind of explaining that because if there was a band between us, I could probably figure it out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I don't really go up with Corpse Paint on for Nevalra, but this will be that one tour where it's kind of the anomaly, where I'm going to go up there probably 75% with that look to get through that set, and then I have 15 minutes to kind of run off stage, get to the green room, finish it up, change what I can change in that amount of time, then get back up there and do Antichrist. So, yeah, there should be a press release coming out here soon that kind of explains that to all the European fans. They understand this isn't how Nevalra is usually presented, but logistically, this is how we had to do it. So
I got you. Now, to put in perspective for everybody listening out there, how long does it usually take for you to get into that getup?
The full stage attire, close to 2 hours, is the best time frame to have. If I have 2 hours, I can make it look really good, and I don't have to like really rush through it. I've done it as fast as about 45 minutes.
Gosh.
But I really hate doing that. Because a lot of this stuff doesn't just like, you don't just put it on. Like, the things that go on my shins, the shin armor, is like, it straps up on the back kind of like a corset.
Yeah.
So I got to do those times 2, one for each leg. And that takes a lot of time. And that's not even including all the paint that's, half of my body. So.
Oh, yeah. So, and then you got 15 seconds to switch out. So something that's 2 hours comfortable, you have.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not even to mention, like playing a set and being real sweaty and then have to go try to get paint to stick to me too. So
yeah, your hair's already a mess and it's just a horrible day, Gosh darn it.
I've actually done a run where I played with both bands before, but it was only like 4 shows. We did a festival and then a few other shows.
Yeah.
And I remember after the 4 shows, I was like, never again, because it was just logistically, it was a nightmare. I got it done, but it was just like I had to be painted before I needed to be painted, kind of a thing. And then I had to run backstage, finish everything, get back up there and do it again. And it was like kind of, your coach asking you to run a mile.
Yeah.
And then you have 15 minutes and it's like, all right, go do it again.
Jeez.
Before you're,
Well, speaking of fests, it says here on the tour sheet that you guys are playing Hellfest.
Yeah, it depends on the side stages.
Okay.
The scheduling is really complicated with like 200 bands.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Hellfest is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Do you know if Antichrist and Nevalra will be playing it, or do you think it'll just be one or the other?
It really depends. On some of them, Antichrist is going to play only, and on some of them, Nevalra might play only.
Okay.
So some of them is going to come down to the day, and if we don't play, we're at least getting to, hang backstage with Kiss and Guns N' Roses and people like that. It'll be crazy.
Well, hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm super jealous right there. So, man. So, I mean, hey, worst case scenario, oh no, you get to hang out with Kiss and Slash. Oh my goodness. So, you got 3 singles coming out and a chance to win a V guitar. So to win the V guitar, we just have to pre-order the album.
Yep. And that'll enter you to win. And they're just going to randomly pick out of the pre-orders. And I'll send that out before I get on the plane. So I'll be cutting it close.
If I give you like an extra $20, you just want to put like my name in there like 3 more times. So.
Yeah. Well, I made sure that the label made the decision, so I wouldn't have anybody pointing their finger at the band and be like, hey, that guy, or, whatever. So, yeah, the label's they're going to pick randomly. It was a nice try, though.
Oh, well. I'll find the people at the label company then, so whatever.
There you go.
Really quick, I know we're running out of time, but the song Conjure the Storm, I can not get enough of that song. In fact, I can't wait to hear the rest of the album if that song is so amazing. But what is that song really about, or what does it really mean to conjure the storm? Because that's what the album's also called too.
Yeah, that's why it's the title track. We thought that was the best representation of the album as well, because it's kind of like it sums up all the heavy parts of the album, because it obviously gets much faster on some other songs. and then it gets much more melodic on other songs. We thought that was like the perfect middle ground. It kind of has like the melody and the rhythmic parts meshed really well, so it captures you as you're listening to it, and it's one of those things that can kind of get stuck in your head a little bit in a good way. So that's why it's like an anthem of sorts.
Okay.
And that's why it's kind of plugged in at track 5 out of 10. It's like the perfect culmination of the entire album is kind of what we felt.
What is the album about?
It's hard to explain. It's kind of one of those, we all go through rough times, and if you can power through them and fight those demons within yourself, that you can kind of harness that negative energy and turn it into positive energy.
I got you.
And that's kind of more or less what it's summed up about, and that's why the artwork matches it so well. Is it's very abstract, and very dark at the same time. So we thought Conjure the Storm was the perfect song, the perfect title, and it kind of sums up the whole album. So what's kind of cool is when you hear the whole album, listen to it from front to back, and you'll kind of feel why Conjure the Storm is right there on track 5.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've pre-ordered the digital album and the LP, which has different artwork, as I understand, than the album cover itself.
Yeah, there's an alternate cover. One of my buddies from tour, Seth from Septic Flesh, he's the front man for Septic Flesh. He does all the artwork for those guys, his own band. And he's also done artwork for like Exodus and Nile and all these other huge bands. So I hit him up after we had done a tour with him, and I was like, hey, I got this other album coming out for my other band, Nevalra, and we need a cover art for it. I would love for you to take a crack at this if you have the time, because he has quite a busy tour schedule as well. And he was like really enthusiastic about it. I sent him the whole album. I was like, this is what it sounds like. This is what I'm looking for, kind of a thing. And we worked on it for a couple months, and he sent me like 10 different versions of this cover.
Nice.
And he was like, which one do you like? These are the ones I like. And we actually decided we both liked the same 2 covers out of like the 10 that were available. And we can decide out of the 2 covers which one we wanted to go with as the most powerful cover. Mm-hmm. And we decided, why don't we use both of them? So the first one, the main one, is the big chest plate, and the alternate cover has the fetuses. Yeah. For the limited edition vinyl.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the covers and I love the abstract artisticness behind it. When I first saw it, scared the crap out of me. Not gonna lie about that. I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, we were very pleased when he started sending some of the very first few images towards it. I was like, okay, I kind of like where this is headed. And then the further we got, the darker and more obscure that it got. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is why I wanted to recruit you to do this. So yeah, we're very pleased with it.
So we're about out of time, man. Anything you want to tell the fans before we head out?
Just that we appreciate the support. We don't get to do what we love to do without you guys buying those albums and coming out and just having fun with us. So we just appreciate all the support you guys show us, and we'll see you guys on tour.
Nevalra, Conjure the Storm, out the 7th. We have a music video coming on the 6th. If you're in Europe, check them out in the European tour. Scott, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.